Hey, warriors and wenches, this is Mr. Hardcore Mode, where nothing is easy, here to bring you my review of Monster Hunter Wilds, a game coming straight from Capcom. Just to give you a little background on my Monster Hunter experience for this game, I have played it since the PlayStation 2, the first Monster Hunter. Of course, you know, back when, you know, nobody knew what the hell was going to happen when you picked up a giant wyvern egg, and then all of a sudden Rathian or Rathalos comes on by and swoops you on by. I'm pretty old, so the first Monster Hunter game, that's where I first started off at, and I picked a few Monster Hunter games in between. But I'm a big fan. But overall, let me go ahead and give you my overall information on what this review is going to be. It is going to be a no spoilers. I'm going to do no spoilers. But you know what? I'm going to do a teeny bit of spoilers, but it's literally something that you obviously would expect in a video game. So that's what I'm going to do with this review. Okay. Let's begin. First thing I always start with my reviews from now on, basically, because I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I want to talk about the price. The price of the game for me, USD, is $70+. That is a lot of money. $70 to me is basically $100, just $30, you know, later on. But it also has microtransactions. And they could be $2, they could be $5, something pertaining to the way you look. There's no pay to win. It's just overall just flavor stuff on the side. Nothing groundbreaking, no pay to win, but it can be kind of scummy. So the fact that you have to pay to edit your character again, it's still fucked up. Even though it's been done before, it doesn't mean it should be done. Do you understand what I'm saying? But overall, $70+ bucks game. Do what you will with that. If you want to pay for it, fine. If you want to wait for a discount, that's fine. I have an issue with it because what I'm about to say coming up next. Up next is the performance. Now, the performance for this game on consoles should be fine, especially on PlayStation. I think you should be well on your way. If you're on PC, you are, depending on what kind of system you got, you are going to have a terrible experience. The performance in this game for PC is absolute dog water, which is sad to say because Capcom is a multi-billion-dollar company and they should be taking care of their customers. But I guess they don't care about you that much. I hear them say we're listening to feedback, but I think that's all, I think that's just all bullshit. So basically with the performance is basically there's a frame rate issue. There's also like graphical issues. There's a lot of muddied down textures. The frames go down if you're just looking at, let's just say if you're just looking at sand and water. It doesn't matter. These fucking cats are fucking annoying. Let me get out of here. But yeah, you could be just looking at sand and the frames just go down. You could turn your character and all of a sudden you lose 10 frames. It is that bad. There are many instances of what's been happening between Monster Hunter and their player base and the information that we've been getting lately. There is the moment where Monster Hunter devs just literally just gave us a note saying, have you tried, updating your drivers? And everybody's like, what the fuck, Capcom? The fuck kind of answer is that? Are you Todd Howard now? Maybe you should upgrade your PC? That is some lazy nonsense right fucking there. And also there's a frame gen issue, which is not adding to performance, but it's actually trying to mimic the performance that you have. So let's just say you have 30 frames going on. Well, it's going to try to predict what the next frame is to the best of its ability, where it could make the overall frames that you're seeing kind of watered, kind of meshy. Like you'll see like the ground and it's all muddy. The way every time when you move the screen, it literally frame gen is basically just fake frames. And the sad thing about the whole performance thing is that they just introduced that shit right off the fucking bat. So when you boot this game up for the first time, it'll be like, we recommend you put frame gen on. And I'm like, that is not a good sign that you would say that. We need to make sure that when this game, we're not all gonna have the best PC. We're not all gonna have the best PC, but we could at least, we're gamers, we can at least count to 10, okay? 2 + 2 is 4, all that shit. They should be providing us an acceptable like launch period of this game on day 1, and things should be fixed. You see what I'm saying? It should be fixed. And the fact that they were lackadaisical about it, which is sad to see, because I thought Japan was serious about their product. I guess I'm fucking wrong. So it could be tied to the re-engine isn't used to doing a open world. It could be the fact that the developers there's a rumor right now saying that they literally just need to change one code and the resolution is back to being normal. I heard that rumor. Like, literally you just need to change the code and just a little bit and things will be fine. Like, it's just a little slight error that they need to fix. That could be a rumor or that could be true. Either one of those two, whatever. There's also the fact that with I brought up the frame gen. I know I brought up the other thing. There was another issue that was with the performance. It was the fact that they also added some troubleshooting things on the Capcom like discussions on Steam, and they're like, hey man, if you want to fix your game, you can give us they give us a whole list of troubleshooting steps to fix your game to have a better performance. And I'm like, nigga, we don't want your fucking list of, oh, go to this file, go to that file, do all this trying to change things up sort of shit. You should be fixing the shit yourself so we can get a better product. Everybody knows it's your fault, okay? Everybody knows this, okay? So many people are having problems, so it must be you. You have to take responsibility for what you did. Also, on the spec sheet, you could go look at the spec sheet right now. They say, oh man, you can do well on a 1080 resolution. And then it says in parentheses, well, it'll go up to 60 frames if you put frame gen. That is not very good. What you're supposed to do is give players 60 frames or more, and then if they want to use frame gen, they can co-op that along with the good frames that they have. You see what I'm saying? It's not supposed to be 30 bad frames and then you get an additional amount of frames from frame gen. And that's what we're supposed to be working off. No, that's not how it's supposed to work. Frame gen is supposed to make things better. It's not supposed to, be a substitute of your optimization issue that you should fix. Do you understand what I'm saying? But anyway, that's the performance. Really sad to see. It's gonna lower this score. I'm gonna keep on continuing because, I'm gonna get angry. But let's go over to the gameplay. This game is fucking fun as fuck. You are out here hunting monsters. The world is more expansive than the previous games. You got so many different types of weapons that you could use. I kind of wish they added a new weapon, but it is what it is. But overall, the combat is absolutely amazing. It makes you feel like a hero sometimes. It also makes you feel like you can't do shit sometimes. It's a good balance between, oh shit, I'm the guy. I am the one. Holy shit, look at me do all this damage. I'm stunning the monster. I'm damaging the monster. I'm opening all its wounds. And then at the next second, the boss or the monsters, they just whip your ass and one-shot you or two-shot you depending on your gear. Now, this is an RPG, of course. It's mostly focused on the big monsters, the large monsters. There are also some side content where you can focus on the endemic life. You can focus on like fishing. You can also work on all these different smaller-ish concerns like building up like your armor, building up your weapons. There are a plethora amount of weapons. There are also, ooh man, the melding. The melding is a certain way of getting better resources and consumables and a whole bunch of other things that you might need to alter your character and their abilities. There's jewels along with it that are like runes, and there are combos with your attacks when you fight off monsters, and the overall preparation between you getting there to the monster and, you know, setting up a trap, putting some bombs on the side. It is excellent. It's basically Monster Hunter Worlds but on a larger scale, and I absolutely love the experience when it works. Okay, when it works. That's my prime issue, is when it works, because everybody wants to know if the game works. Okay, you can't have this awesome Monster Hunter experience if the game doesn't work. You see what I'm saying? You know, you're operating at 15 frames and shit, and you're just going like, this game is great, but I'm moving like a fucking robot, or my characters look all polygonal. Like every time when you're on PC and you boot this game up and you look at all the characters, everything looks all polygon and everything looks like nightmare fuel, and then all of a sudden it acts like, oh shit, nothing ever happened. I'm going back to performance, I apologize. But basically this game is a powerhouse to Monster Hunter Worlds, Rise, and their previous games. If you're coming here brand new, you're gonna have an awesome time if you're into that whole sort of fighting boss fantasy sort of lifestyle. It is really, really fun. Give it a try. Up next is and before I go off to the next subject, there's also the level of difficulty for me with this game. At the beginning, well, to be fair, like I said before, I have already played this game, so I'm a veteran. So when I fight these monsters, I already know what to do. So depending on who you are, when this game first starts off, you might have an easy time, you might have a bad time, or it might be even. But for me, things were easy because I have already played the game. I already know what to expect. So your whole issue on difficulty may vary. So there's that. The combat is great. There's also a new ability to give a focus. It's every weapon in this game has a focus of some sort to damage the enemy, create wounds on the enemy, and to attack that wound and do massive staggering damage to the enemy. I use Sword and Shield, I use the hammer, sometimes I like to use the heavy bowgun, and sometimes I like to use the dual blades. It depends on my flavor, you know, but I definitely do like the big weapons and the big combos. That's where I excel. But those focus moments when you fight and you get those like wounds, you look like a fucking G. It gives you that power fantasy that you've always wanted. That level of escapism is so fun to like just jump at an enemy and do an attack on Titan move on his spine. It is, depending on your weapon, you do a different focus sort of ability. So it's really cool. Depending on your weapon, figure out which weapon you want, because that's the fun part, and then go from there. But anyway, that's the combat, the gameplay, all really fun. We're about to do some end game today, by the way. We're gonna go off and start off with the lore and story. The lore and story, I think the lore nerds are gonna be split in half between okay with the lore or excited about the new lore, because some things are kind of not meshing well with previous Monster Hunter lore. So depending on Monster Hunter Wilds and depending on your preference, if you're that type of person who likes lore, it could be a little bit iffy. So I'm kind of interested on seeing the lore nerds that are on YouTube, the people that you do Monster Hunter lore. I'm interested on what they might say. It's gonna be split. However, the story, I'm telling you right now, the story, because even though Monster Hunter is about fighting monsters, it's not particularly too much into the story, but you get a story nonetheless. It's, you know, it's kind of, you know, a side thing when it comes to story. But for this game, Monster Hunter Wilds, the story is on the front page. There are a lot of moments where you play this game and you have to go straight. They are forcing you to walk with your allies and walk through the new lands, and they are forcing you to go straight and do that said thing. And you're like, well, I want to go there. And you're like, nah, man, we want to figure out who these people and why are they in the Forbidden Lands. It could be quite infuriating, but in between those moments in the story, you can stop and do optional side quests. As long as you talk to your handler or go to your tent, you can stop, smell the roses, play the game. It depends on those instances in between. But let me talk about the story. The story is straight dog water, okay? It's straight hot dog water. It's a complete bullshit snore fest. Every time that this main character, okay, it's a little bit, what's the word? It's a little bit spoilery, but not too much. There's a kid that you save that comes from a different land that nobody knows about. He's kind of a little bit like the key to everything, and he's trying to figure out this whole lifestyle of the hunters and all these other endemic lives and the large monsters, and this kid is at your heels every step of the way on this game. Does that sound fun? Maybe to some, but mostly fuck no, because this kid cries almost every cutscene. If he's not crying, he's over there being sad or something. If he's crying, it's the most annoying shit ever. Listen to me right now. Listen to me right now. You could say, you got two choices, okay? Two choices for story. You could either go through the world with a little kid who's always crying, always bitching about like, well, I don't want to spoil it. I want to say things, but I'm not going to spoil it. You could either have this one where this kid follows you at like all the time, or you could have a story where it's a bunch of hardworking men and women, handlers, hunters, researchers. You're out there figuring out the Forbidden Lands, and then a giant monster appears, and you set up like a home base or a place to set up an outpost, and you guys are pilfering this monster. You're hitting it with cannons, you're hitting it with dragons, piercers, all this shit, and everybody's like, we need to take him down. If we don't, this world will be destroyed. Which one sounds more interesting? Which one? Okay? The one with the kid, or the one with the badass instances of a grave matter that needs to be rectified, and we need to slay this monster and stop him? I'm telling you, every fucking motherfucker will choose that one, because some of you motherfuckers out there already have kids, okay? You don't want to play a video game away from your kids only to take care of another fucking kid, okay? So this nigga right here, this motherfucker right here, I finished the story and he's still here, and he's got some quest or some shit, and I'm like, I need to find my family. And I'm like, cool, we found your family. And then what does he do? I'm coming with you guys. And I'm like, fine. There's some lore-breaking moments in this game. Check it out for yourself. I'm not gonna say it here. We're gonna keep on going, okay? The story is insufferable. I love feelings and emotions, but only at a certain small amount. You can't just be doing all this people feelings, no, not the whole way through, honey boo boo, okay? Not the whole way through. You know what movie has been critically acclaimed and has been like the best movie ever? Lord of the Rings, the whole trilogy, in fact. And guess what? You can count how many times people have cried through the whole trilogy with one fucking hand. Okay? The whole 3 trilogy. Maybe 5. You know what? I'll say 6. And they know that it's like, okay, we had our moment here, we need to move on. You see what I'm saying? I need to let this go. I need to keep moving. This is gonna get way too long. Anyway, up next, I want to talk a little bit about the controversy on this game. The character creation. It's basically body type A and B. I'm sick and tired of that shit. There's only 2 genders. Suck it up. Stop pulling off this bullshit. I fucking hate it. I think they're presets, but we know what the fuck they're doing, okay? Just in Monster Hunter Worlds, guess what they had? Male and female. Now they're trying to be weird and shit. Get that fucking shit out of here. Stop that bullshit. Wake the fuck up. Also, the other one would have to be the armor. In the previous games, you had 2 different types of armor. The way they looked depended on basically whether or not you're male or female. So you had alpha armor set and beta armor set, and you'd be like, oh cool, I want this one on the top because of this armor and this stat, but this thing looks cool. I'm willing to sacrifice to go a little bit on armor type beta and a little bit on armor type alpha, and you know, mix and match because I look cool but also I have good stats. So there's basically, when you fight a monster, you have Arc Veiled's armor, and you have 2 set types of the way the armor looks. There's alpha and beta. Well, for men in Monster Hunter Wilds, you have the male for alpha and the female armor for beta. So basically, now you can look like a female if you're a man, and you can look like whatever the fuck you want if you're a female. Females are probably having a field day if they have females are probably having a field day because they get 2 different types. They can look sexy, also look like a badass with both alpha and beta armor types. But for men, especially straight men like me, I don't want to wear fucking... You know what? I'll show you. I'll show you.
Yep.
I'll show you.
Anything catch your eye?
You see that green and orange thing on the side? I'll show you.
Good bar.
I'll show you. Nope, I want a better one. Here, perfect. Lalabarina. This is the male set right here. Looks nice, looks cool. Here's the beta set. That's what we got. So now we can look like females now. And I'm like, cool. Let's, the only 2 people that are going to do this are people that are gonna fuck around and just don't care and they wanna look stupid. And the other crowd that is a minute amount of people that are just wanna be fucking flamboyant, okay? Back in the day, we had 2 armor sets where we could look cool. We had 2 sets, alpha and beta, and I'm like, cool, I can have 2 choices. Now, motherfucker, I got just 1. I got just 1 set. That's all I got. Maybe I can skim through and get maybe the arms, but I'm not gonna get no skirt. I ain't getting no skirt. I hate that shit. The Dashiguma. Hold on. We got a better one. I ain't wearing that. I ain't wearing that. Give me another one. Give me another one. I'm not wearing that. I'm not wearing that. What? I got titties now. I'm not wearing that. Let me show you another one. Look at those legs. See, the chest piece I'm okay with. The chest piece I can do. The leggings, I'm not doing that, son. I'm not doing that. We got another one. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Yeah, that's I'm not doing that. See, now I only get 2 choices, and I only get 1 choice instead of 2. So that's fucking great for me. I mean, yeah, the small demographic, they're gonna have a fucking field day because, you know, they're all about their feelings and shit. So,
Already?
that sucks. That really does suck. And you know what? I'm fine with what I'm wearing. I look good. This is the only armor that I fucking need. I look badass as fuck. I'm not taking this armor off at all. I'm good. I'm gonna do some endgame, maybe find some new monsters, figure that out from there. But I only get one armor set. Some of you clowns out there, you got two. But anyway, my score for this is gonna be a 6 out of 10. I have to take a big chunk out of the you know, result because, well, if the game doesn't run well, then you can't play the game. You know what I mean? I take a very big chunk out of a game for fucking with the player. There's, for my meter, for scoring it from 1 to 10, my big chunk is it playable? And if it's not playable for either PlayStation people, PC people, I chop that shit almost right in half and maybe give it a 5 out of 10 or a 6 out of 10. I'm sorry. Well, maybe if the game was working, maybe it'll be better. But anyway, that's my score. I still think the game is great. I have a few issues with a certain few things. Biggest thing is the performance. But all in all, really good game. Really good game. Really fun. I do say if you're looking forward to playing the game, I would wait maybe a month or two because they're going to take their sweet ass time to update the performance if you're on PC. If you're on PlayStation, you're fine. But yeah, and if you're not into the story, you can skip everything, by the way. If you don't want to hear all that shit, you can skip the story. You can skip all those cutscenes. Anyway, I'll leave it at there. Thanks so much, everybody. And we're gonna go ahead and play some Monster Hunter. I'm gonna go ahead and read some lines up here, so some stuff the chat's saying. I guess I'll be playing as a female character with these armors. Yeah, pretty much. Hey, but oh, and before I'm done, by the way, you want the frames, you want the performance better? Mods. You want girls to actually look fucking hot in this game? Mods. That's all I'm saying, okay? You know, you don't have to abide by their rules. It's your fucking game. Mods, baby. Mods. Get those budgets. Get those budgets. 1 and 2. Big mountain budgets. Have fun. Have fun. We're gonna go ahead and play.